All right, hoping this works. So here you go, knuckleheads. Video. Remember this? I know y'all miss it. So anyway, what are we going to do today? We're going to simplify rational expressions, and then I'm just going to add on to your assignment. So make sure you check your agenda so that you know what the assignment is. So are we ready? Okay, don't make fun of me using non-line paper here. So P 4.2. I can simplify rational expressions. Simplify rational expressions. All right, and so the key thing that you want to do is you're going to have to do some factoring first. So you got your factoring half sheet, have that out. You're going to have to cancel your common factors. All right, so we're going to cancel our common factors. And then the last thing you have to do is list your domain restrictions. And that goes back to your common factors. So I'm going to show you 1, 2, 3 examples here. So here we go. Excuse me. First example, x squared plus 4x minus 12 over 3x minus 6. So see, we've got a rational expression. We've got a trinomial up top. We've got a binomial on bottom. So the very first thing we got to do is we got to factor each of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of separate these two things off to the side here. So I'm going to rewrite my x squared plus 4x minus 12, and I'm going to factor that one first. Okay? So I factor my numerator here. You know this is going to be a factor x. So I take negative 12 times 1, and I get negative 12 up there. I take this 4, and that's what goes down here. Two numbers that multiply to get negative 12 add up to get positive 4 are 6 and negative 2. So that means that this factors to x plus 6 and x minus 2. Okay, so that's how my numerator factors. I am then going to take my denominator, which is the 3x minus 6, and I'm going to factor that also, 3x minus 6. So this right here, let me go back, was my numerator. This right here is my denominator. And you can see we just got a greatest common factor here of 3, and then I get x minus 2 left in parentheses. Okay? So that was my factoring step. Factor my numerator, I got x plus 6, x minus 2. Factor my denominator, I get 3 times x minus 2. So what I want to do now is just kind of rewrite that. So instead of writing it in this form, I'm going to write it in its factored form. So we have x plus 6, x minus 2 over 3, x minus 2. Okay? So that's our factoring. Just jumped into factoring right there. Next thing we want to do is we want to cancel our common factors. So you got to look for things inside the parentheses that are common. And so this one right here is your x minus 2. Why you didn't shut the... Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm at home in my living room, so and the fridge is open. So anyway, so we've got a common factor of x minus 2 here, x minus 2 there. We cancel them. Okay, reducing. All that is reducing your fraction. All right, so what does that leave left? That leaves our x plus 6 left on top. That leaves the 3 left on bottom. And now we have to list our domain restrictions. And so our domain restrictions, we have to look at what we canceled out. So for our domain restrictions, I'll call that D dot R, we got to take whatever we canceled, in this case the x minus 2, and we got to say cannot equal 0. And we solve that. So x cannot equal 2. I just added 2 to both sides. So I have to add this here. There's my domain restriction. And we put this restriction on it because if I plug 2 up in here, look at what happens. I'm at 6 minus 6, which is 0, which is bad math. And so there's our answer. Okay? All right, let's look at a second example. So, ready? Here we go. All right, so x to the third minus 4x over x squared plus x minus 2. I'm going to pull my numerator off here and factor that. So my numerator, x to the third minus 4x. So you look for your greatest common factor first, which you can see is going to be x. And if I factor an x out of there, I get x squared minus 4. If we look at our x squared minus 4 on our sheet, that's the difference of 2 squares. So that's x plus 2, x minus 2. So there's my numerator factor right there. Let's do the denominator now. Alright, x squared plus x minus 2. That's a trinomial. We do the x. Negative 2 times 1, negative 2. Put a 1 right there because this is 1x. Two numbers that multiply to get negative 2 add up to get 1 are 2 and negative 1. And so this factors to x plus 2, x minus 1. Alright, now that I've got those factored forms, I'm going to rewrite them in my x plus 2, x minus 2. So I just rewrote that. And then I'm going to do the same thing with that one. Oh, excuse me. And so I have x plus 2, x minus 1. Yes, I'm yawning in my video. I'm getting yelled at from the bedroom. Alright, so now that's factored. We want to cancel common factors, which is just that and that. So, what do we have left? We have x minus 2 on top, x minus 1 on bottom. For my domain restriction, I got to take what I canceled and say cannot equal 0. This cannot equal negative 2, and that's what has to go here. Once again, if you were to put negative 2 right there, you get an answer of 0, and that's bad math. Alright, and finally, hi Gail. Want to say hi to everyone, Gail?
Hi everyone.
Hope you heard that. That's Gail. She's in college. So, yeah, you'll be there someday, just not today. Got to pass my class first. I know, terrible, isn't it, Gail? So, okay, what do we got here? Third one. So, let's see. 12 plus x minus x squared over 2x squared minus 9x plus 4. Let's break that down again. So our numerator is 12 plus x minus x squared. Okay? Notice that our x squared term here is negative. Okay, we don't want that. That's rough to work with. So let's do this. Let's factor out a negative 1. When I factor out a negative 1, all of these signs change. This becomes negative 12, negative x, positive x squared. And so I'm going to write it like that. Positive x squared minus x minus 12. Hi, Draper. How you doing, buddy? Huh? Good boy. Yeah. All right. Now, inside here, we can do our factor x. And so I'm going to go negative 12 on the top. Negative 1, because remember, once again, that's 1 on the bottom. And two numbers multiply to get negative 12, add up to get negative 1, negative 4 and 3. So in this factors, we're going to keep our negative 1, x minus 4, x plus 3. So that's my new numerator. My denominator, 2x squared minus 9x plus 4. So we do our factor x. So we go 4 times 2, which is 8. Has to add up to get negative 9. Negative 8, negative 1. Okay? We have x minus 8, x minus 1. But don't forget, because of this 2 right here, got to divide those by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so that becomes x minus 4. This one does not divide out evenly, so we take this 2 and plug it right there, 2x minus 1. I'm going to put everything together, so there's my numerator, negative 1, x minus 4, x plus 3. Over my denominator, x minus 4, 2x minus 1. Okay, what cancels? Our x minus 4's cancel. And so I have negative 1, x minus 3, over 2x minus 1. And as far as your domain restriction, we say x minus 4 cannot equal 0. X cannot equal positive 4 when I solve that. All right. Thank you, and have a good evening, or day, sorry. Evening. It's 9